fantasies play. Shadows fall, dimming the light. Whispers grow, a rising tide. Vindicator, where do you hide? Steel is over, heart ablaze. Through smoky haze, he sets his gaze. Justice calls a burning need. A city's wounds he vows to heed. From cobbled streets to tower high, Vindicator takes to the sky. Strikes back with iron hands, defender of this promised land. Breaks the chains, sets spirits free. Vindicator for all to see. Whispers turn to thunderous roar as shadows creep. He slams the door on tyranny's cruel, grasping hand. He fights for freedom, takes a stand with courage born of darkest night. He ignites hope, a guiding light. Strikes back with iron hands, defender of this promised land. Breaks the chains, sets spirits free. Vindicator for all to see. Though battles rage and darkness reigns, hope's ember burns within his veins. He'll never yield, he'll never fall. He answers freedom's clarion call. Strikes back with iron hands, defender of this promised land. Breaks the chains, sets spirits free. Vindicator for all to see. A symbol etched against the moon. Vindicator rising soon.
Hello, everybody. How you all doing? Hope you're doing great. So, I want to apologise. I got a bit carried away with editing. I've got 2 hours of the live stream footage to go through. I've also got 12 hours of body cam footage to go through as well, because that gives a slightly different perspective on things than the live stream did. So I'm really glad I've got the body cam, because that gives me two perspectives. The live stream tends to give just, the view of what you're looking at, but the body cam gives you like kind of a fisheye view of what's happening. So you get lots more in it than the live stream does. So it's good to have that. Thanks, Brian. I really appreciate that. I want to thank everybody as well. Everybody that came up to me yesterday while I was live streaming and said hello and thanked me and stuff like that. I really appreciate it. That's what I do it for. And one lady, I don't know if she's watching this live stream tonight. I don't know her name. She came up to me, and there were two other live streamers there when she came up to me, and she said, "You've inspired me to come out." She says, "I'm scared, but I've been inspired to come out by you, to come and stand here with the UKIP protest, and stand up and be counted." And that's what it's all about. That's what I'm doing this for. To inspire people. It's not good enough just to be behind a computer screen talking about things. You've got to get out there and inspire people to be like you. You've got to be to quote Gandhi, you've got to be the change you want to see in the world. So by my actions, I hope to inspire others. That's my mission, to wake people up and inspire them to do the same thing, to inspire them to maybe start their own protests in their own towns, the villages, and that's what it's all about for me and this channel. It's like what the Vindicator theme says, I'm trying to be a beacon of light and hope for people. And that's exactly what this channel is about. That's what it stands for. So yeah, I really appreciate everybody that came up to me yesterday thanking me, because that makes this worthwhile. It really does, to know that I'm having an effect, and you know, I'm encouraging people to get out there and do things. It's really important to me, that. So thank you. Right, let's get into things. So is anybody in the chat that was actually there yesterday at the UKIP protest in Sheffield? Is anybody actually there? Give me a thumbs up if you're actually there. I know the stream's a bit lagging. I think there's a bit of a delay, so it's not instantaneous. So just tell me if you were there yesterday. Got to meet Charlie Veach, which was amazing. He's a great guy, very approachable. He's basically I like people like him, because he is what you see. He's not a persona; it's just him, and I like that. Met quite a few auditors yesterday. Met Laudits, one or two other big streamers. I can't remember all your names. I'm sorry. One or two people asked me to join a WhatsApp group. So if anybody knows who they are, they said stop the boats. I've tried looking for them on Twitter and I couldn't find them. So if you're in the chat or you know of them, just let me know. Drop the links and I'll find you on social media and we can arrange things. Because it would be nice to meet up and go to the protests, because that's my goal. I want to go to the protests. I went to Southampton, went to Sheffield, been to Nottingham. I want to start branching out a bit more. Hopefully, want to get up to Leeds and Manchester at some point and do those places as well. So yeah, it's about expanding and getting out there. Just want to say something else a minute as well. Even though I've got adverts on my videos now, I'm supposedly monetized. I'm not actually making any money from YouTube at the minute, because they've rejected my tax forms for some reason. So I've got to sort all that out. I've got to provide a government ID. So I've got to send off for a provisional driving license to provide that. So in the meantime, this channel isn't earning any money. So bear that in consideration. That, yeah, I may be dropping the PayPal link on some of my videos and stuff to try and fund some of these projects. Me going different places and stuff like that to get you guys footage. And like I did yesterday. Yesterday in Sheffield wasn't too bad because it's close. I could manage that one. But when I go a little bit further afield, that's when it gets a bit more expensive. But yeah, just bear that in mind. Right. The protest yesterday. The organisers of that protest must have the patience of saints. That's all I can say. Because I've never known, this may have happened at other protests, I don't know, but it's the first time I've known it to happen, that for the march to be actually taking place and them change the route seconds before the march is due to set off. Literally nobody knew the route. Everybody was asking me where's the route. I said, I don't know. It's changed so many times, I can't tell you. I don't understand. I don't understand the police's motivation about marching the Patriots where they did, kettling them for a good 2 hours, and then allowing them to march on again. For me, if I was in a police officer's position, if I was in command, I'd be thinking, right, let's get this march over as soon as possible and get to their rendezvous point as quickly as possible and get them past all of Antifa. Why they just didn't let them continue to march, I don't know. And why they had to kettle them in that little side road where they did is beyond me. I don't know why they did that. To me, it was a tactical error. Lots of people were saying it. There were lots of veterans there, and we were all like shaking our heads saying, the hell are they doing? This is very, very tactically unsound. Why would you put a large group of people like this in a side street with a hotel with windows right at the back end? It just didn't make any sense. None of it made any sense, to be honest with you. A lot of it didn't make any sense. A lot of the policing was just atrocious. I don't know if it was deliberately atrocious or what, but it definitely sent like there was motive behind it. Why they allowed a large group of Antifa to congregate outside the kettle is beyond me, because that's a clear breach of the restrictions that were put on them. They were to stay in Castle Gate or they would be facing arrest, they were told. It's just something I don't understand. It was absolutely insane. It was a shit show. And for me, the purpose was kettle them in a small enclosed space, get them angry, then let them come out, wait until they're really angry, let them come out, and then try and start something. Because where the police were, there were no actual barriers to stop loony lefties from coming out of Castlegate. There weren't. Obviously, they know the city, they know where to move and where to go and stuff like that. And it's like what Steve mentioned today. Steve mentioned this. He said they always focus all their attention on the non-threat, which would be UKIP. And Steve quite eloquently put it rightly so in the comments. He said, why would UKIP kick off because they're a political movement? It's not favourable for them to get violent, and it isn't. It's not. So really, the threat is Antifa. I mean, the police have got enough intelligence now. I mean information when I say intelligence. I don't mean intelligence because they clearly don't. Intelligence information on Antifa. They know they kick off for every one of these protests. They know what the threat is. So why do they always treat the patriots like the threat? We know why. Because it's to demonize them. It's so the press can say, look at all the right police around the evil far right about to kick off, when that's not the case at all. It's not the case at all. It's always the violent far left that kick things off. They're always trying to get into the protest. There was one yesterday, a female. She went in and stood there with a notice trying to kick things off. She wasn't violently thrown to the floor and dragged off to a van and arrested and kept in a cell for 8 hours. She was just escorted out by the police. That was it. Yeah, if that had been a patriot at a pro-Palestine march, there was lots of instances of this yesterday where I could have said this. If that was a patriot going up to a pro-Palestine march, they would have been arrested. And we all know they would have been, because we've got the footage to prove it, because we've seen it with our own eyes. It actually happened. It was just obviously two-tier policing all the way. All the way. I don't know who that is. Sorry. Then that was a bad idea with the hotel. I'm glad you got back home safely. Yeah, it was. Yeah, it was insane. And the windows open outwards. Yeah, this should all have been a part of a risk assessment, shouldn't it? It most certainly should have been a risk assessment. Like, right, we'll kettle them in here. But whether that was a last-minute thing, I don't know, because the route was constantly changing. But they said the route had changed, but they had barriers already in place where they intended to kettle people. So maybe that was the intended place all along. I don't know. Let's have a look at this one. Problem is, the stand-up to races may have been told to stay at Castlegate, but after other lefty boys like PSE, Palestine, and yeah, they're not part of them. They are a part of them, though, aren't they, Steve? We know they're a part of them. They're all interlaced. They're all interactive. They're all different groups. They've got connections. They'll have communication. Definitely have communication. I mean, Antifa stand up to racism. They're all affiliated together. They're all the same people. Definitely the same people. So saying they didn't know it, I mean, obviously they're gonna claim ignorance. Oh, we didn't know. But ignorance isn't a defence in the law, is it? But yeah, Palestine not part, and Shabam and were the pair that got Marty B locked up. Right, okay, yeah, I saw them, yeah. That's why I said, if you watch me on the live stream, pointing forward, say agitator. I'm walking down towards them behind her, I say agitator to recognise them. Were you there, Crag? Were you there yesterday then? Then I think the police want an excuse just to arrest us. Were you there? Yeah, I think they know as well as we do. They know as well as we do. They're all affiliated. They'll have intelligence on them, all of them as well, to know who's affiliated with who. I mean, when you've got stand up to racism chanting, we stand with Palestine action, then you know they're all affiliated. They're all intertwined with one another, aren't they? Right. So, I'm trying to think does anybody want to ask any questions about yesterday? About what was going on? I would have played some footage on here, but I didn't have it ready in time. What I thought I'd actually scheduled the live stream for 8 o'clock, like Steve said, because I normally do it. If it's going to be late, I do it at 8 o'clock. But I scheduled it for 7. I completely lost track of time editing because I was trying to edit some clips ready for showing on here because I can't show the full files. It won't accept them. But I haven't got anything ready, so. So look. But remember, there are 700 Home Office Muslim affiliates. Effing over the, yeah, I agree. Police was bad too. Yeah, I saw that. They always are. They always go after the small, weak ones, don't they? They went after CP reports. They went after Mystic Media because Mystic Media is they're a duo. It's dad and son, I think. And they went after his dad and they pushed him to the floor. I saw him go down. I'm editing that video as we speak, and that's going to be up tomorrow, that one, because I really want to get that one out. I've got the body cam footage and I've got the live stream footage as well that shows it very, very clearly. So that'll be up tomorrow, that one. But yeah, that was shocking. I mean, he was a big guy as well. The police officer was a big guy, and it was really excessive force. I mean, he didn't just gently just like put his hand out and push him back. He full on went up to him and just like shoved him with his shoulders, and he just went flying. You know, he's only a little guy, and he's got expensive camera equipment as well. Plus, he's got a backpack on, which is going to make him, off balance anyway. Why has this channel not got more attention? I don't know. I don't know. If I was Plod, I'd stay away from CP reports. Yep. I'll tell you something, she's feisty. I've seen her in person. I saw her in person yesterday. She is feisty. You don't want to mess with her. She may be small, but she's got a lot of fighting. She's like my Michelle. She's small, but she's feisty. I wouldn't mess with her if you get her angry. Bad idea. She's like one of them little yapping dogs that have a go at your ankles. Right. Yeah. Yeah. Right. Let's have a look. Let's have a look at some Twitter stuff. There might be some footage on Twitter actually I could play. Let's have a look on there. See if we can get it up. I'm going to drop the link in the chat early tonight as well. If anybody wants to come in and have a chat, you're quite welcome to do so. I suppose just talk about this as well. I've been told to set up a Facebook page for all my videos too. So I'm going to do that as well. I'm going to move over to Facebook as well and upload my videos on there. The more places I can upload my videos and the greater area I'm covering, the more protection I've got. So if this channel goes down here, I still got Facebook. I'm still established on X as well. Go and follow me on X if you're not already following me on X. Really helps me out on there. Right, can't see anything on there. Right, let's have a look. Let's have a look. Right, I'm just having a look, guys. Let's just see. Is this it? Yeah, well, this guy here, right. I'll pause that. Because that idiot sergeant was everywhere yesterday. We're going to talk about him in a minute as well. Right, I'll share this on here. Because he was an idiot. I'd like to know Steve's. We might actually. It's only a 2-minute video. Watch the video in a minute for people that haven't seen it. That sergeant was an idiot, and I dressed him down properly. But we'll watch this first because he's in this one as well. I think he pops up here as well. Is that sharing? So it's sharing. Why is that not sharing? Not sharing the wrong one. Remove that. We don't want that one. Video file. Share screen. Why is that not sharing? Stop sharing. There we go. That should be it. Sharing now? Yeah, we're sharing now. Don't know what that was all about then. That was weird. All right. I'm sharing that either. Right, we'll play this.
I've been on both. We're independent journalists. Well, if interestingly, if you look at the unions that actually hand out these cards, they say that this is not legally meant to identify you as a journalist. I own a media company myself, which is the only thing you really would probably need to identify yourself as a journalist. So
We're not letting them through at the minute because we're ready to breach the meet.
how would we
Not
be?
getting anything.
What do you think of their instructions?
Now, that makes me laugh. That makes me laugh. We're not letting anybody through at the minute because we're afraid of a breach of the peace. Then just move the lefties away then. Move the lefties away. I know that you've got a lot of police officers standing around doing nothing that could have been actually walking around moving the lefties on, but they weren't. They were just stood around on the phones. I watched them because I was walking past them. So why weren't they being utilised? Why weren't they being used to sweep up the lefties that's still knocking around outside the kettle? Then there would have been a breach of the peace, would there? And trust me, there was enough officers there to deal with a breach of the peace. You could just simply go up to them and arrest them because they're outside their restrictions anyway. You could arrest them and say, you're outside your restrictions. You're quite obviously part of a protest because you're masked up. Why would you be masked up, stood outside the protest if you're not a protester? I don't buy that excuse. It's rubbish. Yeah, he was an idiot. I mean, it was really condescending to young Bob, and I think it's because he's young. But the thing is, it doesn't matter if he's young. That sergeant still has to be professional in his job. That's what he does. That's when he's out and about. When he's got that uniform on, he's a professional. Young Bob, member of the public, speak to him professionally. Young Bob was being perfectly polite to him. He was just asking him questions about certain actions that took place. This incident here, why he wasn't allowed to leave the kettle when he's allowed to leave the kettle because he's a journalist. They wouldn't answer though. He wouldn't answer it because he couldn't, because he knows he was in the wrong. South Yorkshire Police are not fit for purpose. No, they're not, mate. They're not at all. They're absolutely shocking. We'll carry on watch this though.
It seems pretty arbitrary. I imagine these kettles are exclusively for activists, which of course we're not. We're not members of UKIP, and of course we're not affiliated with Antifa. So they're just trying to kettle in people for the sake of we don't want to give journalists the perspective that other legacy media companies are able to have.
There you go. That was that. There was another one somewhere as well of that sergeant getting involved. Try and find that one actually. Don't know where that one is. Right, we'll have a look at that. Try and get it up. Oh, where is it? Right, young Bob. So I'm searching for that one with the sergeant as well because he was a muppet. He was. I know it's on here somewhere. I've seen it. Obviously, it's on somebody's YouTube channel. It might not even be on Twitter. Hoping it would be. because that sergeant I had to go out was stood behind him. Nope, can't find it. Never mind. Never mind. Right, let's go and have a look at the video for people that haven't actually seen the video. It's only 2 minutes. It's not long. It's this one. Right, let's play this. Get rid of the adverts first. Right, so I'm going to give a little bit more context there. So this was young Bob up here. He was giving his, he was asking this officer questions, and I noticed this officer was being really disrespectful. He wasn't listening, and the latter part, he kept doing to him. He wasn't listening. Then he turned his back on him. Young Bob was still asking him questions, and he just turned his back on him. And then then this happened. Why is that doing that? Right, stop that a minute. No, I've got to. It's not on that one, is it? I'm not having a good day today. It's sharing the wrong one. Okay, we'll share this one then. Right. I forgot I've got to pick the right window from the right. There we go. Actually, we're doing it now. Yeah, that's it. Sorry about that. Here we go. So young Bob and a few others were trying to talk to this sergeant on the screen, and all he did was be condescending and sarcastic towards them. He then walked off and turned his back on them as they were asking him questions about why his officers acted the way they did during the kettle and why they were so unreasonable with the Patriot protesters. The guy shouldn't be in the uniform, and I think, you know, it's self-explanatory from what I say to him here, especially when he walks away and laughs about it.
See you later. You held us there for hours, and then you didn't clear the area. See you later.
So that was a little bit patronising, wasn't it, mate? A little bit patronising, that. Yeah, a little bit patronising, buddy. Yeah, it is. No. You're a disgrace, that uniform, mate. I wore a uniform to protect my country, and you're a disgrace wearing that. All right? Absolute disgrace. Taking that sort of attitude with people is wrong. It's very wrong. You're supposed to de-escalate, not escalate. Yeah? He's just a fucking idiot. Shouldn't be in the uniform. He shouldn't be in the uniform. Definitely not. That's a disgrace. I'd be ashamed to take orders from somebody like that, treating the public like that.
The aptitude test they've got to take in order to be a police officer.
But yeah, you can smile all you want, mate. That's disgusting. Just make this guy famous.
There's a big distinction between.
Excuse me, mate. Let's have a look at your collar number, mate. Yeah, I want to look at your collar number. Yeah. Thanks, mate. You're a disgrace, mate. Yeah.
Now you don't laugh about it.
Yeah.
You can British police officer.
Absolute disgrace talking to members of public like that.
What did they say?
He was being patronising. It was like they were trying to put their point across, and it was like dismissing them out of hand. It was disgusting.
That
We
was
don't
that.
age.
That was that.
We up.
So that was that. So yeah, he shouldn't be in the uniform, and I agree with Nathan exactly. Police shouldn't have egos. They shouldn't have egos. They should leave the ego at the door when they leave for work in the morning. From that point on, that's exactly. This is why you need to have ex-military. Now, I'm not saying that ex-military don't have egos, because they do, but I would suggest that they be more professional, because we have that thing that when we go and do our job, it's a flip from personal life to professional life straight away. Steve will back me up on this. He's an ex-soldier as well. There's a quick switch from personal life to professional life. You leave your personal life at the door when you leave, and now it's game head on, it's job head on, and that's it. You're professional from the time you clock on to the time you clock off. That's it. That's the job. But it seems some police officers can't do that, and it's evident from the footage. Steve, I'm happy with prison service today. I definitely think it's not fit for purpose to do it. Oh, hang on. Police with a terrible attitude, clearly siding with his own personal views. Yeah, definitely. And a lot of people were at the side agree with me. It was like, you're not even listening. You're just walking away. You didn't even look interested. You know, fair enough. If you're not interested, then at least look interested. But what he should have done was, if he was professional, he should have said, if you have any complaints, here you are. Here's the number. Here's where you go and complain. That's what he should have done as a professional police officer. He didn't have to answer the questions. He could have just given them a way to air their grievances and said, look, this is the complaints phone number for this particular police station, whatever, or this area, and given them some advice, given the public some way of giving feedback or complaining. That's what he should have done as a professional police officer. He didn't, though. And that's my issue with him. He shouldn't be in the uniform. And this is what happens. You get these sort of people being promoted into the higher ranks, and they're the gatekeepers. These are the ones stopping the decent police officers from being promoted because of their personal views. They won't put them in for being sergeants or anything like that. They'll stop them. They'll stop them at every turn. They'll keep them as PCs if they can. That's why we've got such a shit show regarding hierarchy within the police force. Now, saying that, like I said in my video this morning, it's a case-by-case basis. I met some really nice police officers on that protest yesterday, and I tried my best to help some of them out as well, as you saw from the live footage. I was pointing out people of interest to them that they'd not seen. Now, in all credit to them, it's a busy protest. You can't always pick out people from a crowd. You can't. You can't pick out everybody. I've got the advantage of not having the pressure of the job on me on the day. I can freely look around at people, whoever I want. So it swings and roundabouts, all right? But I will say, as a whole, the police, the average was shocking. It really was. Unfortunately, the really good police officers were outshone by the really shit ones. Great. The way you spoke to Sergeant because you dressed him down, but were clever in your words used. Exactly. That's because I'm used to having people underneath me, subordinates. I led a team out in Iraq. And if anybody had messed up, that's the way I would have spoken to them. I would have given them a bollocking. It's like, because in those sort of situations, and in his situation, you can't afford to mess up. If you mess up for an instant, it could lead to somebody being killed. Quite easily yesterday, somebody could have been killed. Quite easily. We don't know what these people are carrying. They could be deranged. They could have knives. We've seen it, the rising knife crime. Any one of those people could be carrying a knife. And they were just complacent with them. I mean, the fact they allowed that woman, who was quite clearly white, by the way, who was dressed up in that hijab with the cap on and the pro-Palestine flag. She was white. I could see through a hijab. Burqa, sorry. And they allowed her to get right up close. Now, underneath all that lot, she could have been carrying anything. She could have been carrying a bottle of acid. She could have had a knife. And I had a group of girls outside of me because I was raising concerns about her. And they said, what's she going to do? I says, well, she's a perceived threat. And that's why. That's why people like that get through, because they don't perceive them as a threat. And that's the very people they will use. The people that are going to be perceived as not a threat are the people they're going to use to carry out an attack. It's just tactical awareness. It's operational awareness. It's thinking outside the box. It's knowing what these people are capable of. And sadly, the majority of police officers don't know that. They would if they recruited directly from the armed services. If you recruited police officers that were just about to finish their active duty and put them in the police force, you would have a better crop of police, because they would have that experience. They would have that hindsight that when they've been out in Iraq, they're constantly alert. They have to be, because their lives depend on it. People don't understand that walking in a different place is dangerous. Just walking in a different place is dangerous, that you're not aware of because of IEDs. That's the constant threat out there. So you've literally got to be switched on all the time, and it's mentally draining. That's what burns me out. I go on these protests and my head's on a swivel the whole time. I'm emotionally and mentally alert the whole time, 100%. And it's mentally draining. Well, that's the job. That's what it takes. And that's why you have to be physically and mentally strong to do it. You really do. Because if you're not, you shouldn't be in the job. Because the minute you drop the ball and you take the eye off the ball and you miss somebody, that's when somebody gets killed. If that was, I mean, let's put this into a context, right? Say that lady was walking up to a patrol in Iraq and somebody missed it. That could be potentially fatal, because underneath that, or that, I'm not saying that would have been the case, but it's a good example. We don't know now. This is new territory in this country. She could quite easily have been wearing a suicide vest. For all those police officers were aware, she could quite easily have been wearing a suicide vest, walked straight into that crowd and detonated. It's not beyond possibility in this country anymore. It really isn't. And when you're shouting to a police officer and you're pointing at her and saying, "But look at her, she's moving towards a protest," and they do nothing, that tells me everything I need to know about the current police force. It really does. Who's Chris? Hello, Chris. Why can't the military get involved? Who is not deploying them, Stormer? Yeah, I'm Dave. I'm Dave, not Chris. At one time, police had a recruitment system that meant at least 25% were ex-forces or recent ex-forces. But back in the Victorian times, they used to recruit 25% from agricultural workers. Yeah, because they were big, they were strong. They could handle the workload. How you doing, buddy? How you doing, mate? Some of the little girls they were pushing out in the police is ridiculous. Painting nails, fancy ball. Oh God, they were out yesterday. There was one, and I was laughing at her. I'm sure Steve saw it as well because it was on my live stream. She was trying to run up this hill, and it was like she got the full weight of a fireproof suit on. She obviously got body armor, and I don't know why they had all that kit on. They didn't need it. They didn't need it at all. It was just for show. Just for show. And I was watching the police push back Antifa, and it was like the Keystone Cops. It was just like the Keystone Cops. You know, if that had been Patriots, the batons would have been out. There'd been Parva spray sprayed in their faces straight away. But because it's the I was laughing my head off because this commander was shouting, "Form a tactical line." It's like, how the hell is that tactical? How is that tactical? You're just pushing them forward. There's nothing tactical about it. Nothing tactical about it at all. You know, and when you've got Antifa, like 4 stone, piss wet through weaklings pushing back police officers, you know there's something wrong. I shouted to him, Steve. I said, "I bet you're wishing you'd taken the fitness training now, aren't you?" Ridiculous. They were shocking. It's like I'm 51, and you know I was running up the hill. I know they got all kit on and everything like that, but even I was wearing a heavy stab-proof vest, and I was up the hill like a rocket. But that's because I maintain my fitness. I go walking every day. I go hiking. Some of those, I would say, you know, lay off the lay off the donuts. Yeah, it was like form a tactical line. I was like, what? And it's like, you've got horses. Why don't you just use the horses? You've got horses at your disposal. Just bring the horse. You only need to bring the 2 horses down to back up your officers. They'll soon disperse when the horses get involved. It's like, just use some tactics. Why didn't they kettle them? Why didn't they surround them, kettle them, and move them on? Or use parva spray? Because they were clearly pushing back against the police. They were assaulting the police officers. 100%. Yeah, I only saw one of them get arrested. There were lots throwing punches. I saw lots throwing punches at the police, but only one of them got arrested. I told you about Newcastle, where I had to pause and allow a section to pass me as I was outpacing them at 71. That's about right, Steve. That is about right. It's about right, that, isn't it? I was just thinking to myself, how the hell did you get into the police service? I mean, one, I had to laugh because it was like an Easter egg running up the hill, because his helmet, you know, it was bigger than his body. And all I could see was the helmet with legs running up the hill. It's like, Jesus, it's a chuffing, it's an Easter egg with legs running up the hill. I know I'm making fun of them, but they deserve it because they look shocking. I know I've been a bit hard on the police, and it's always a case-by-case basis, but I've never seen something so shocking in all my life yesterday. I really haven't. I thought they were bad. I didn't think they were that bad. Yeah, right. Let's see if we've got some more footage on here yet. Right, so I mentioned that I'm going to set up a Facebook page, a Vindicator Strikes Back Facebook page. Actually, I'll show this because a lot of people have been sharing this thinking it's real and it's not. It's like what I was showing the other day. So we'll show this. It's quite obviously AI generated. You can see it's AI generated. It's like why people are falling for this, I don't know. Right, we'll share this. Right, so this is fake. This isn't real. I agree with the message, but it's not real. I mean, this guy's going, well said, sir. It's not real. It's AI generated. You can tell it is. Watch this.
I sacrificed my life to secure this country's freedom and its freedom of speech. And now you arrest people for words while turning a blind eye to crimes committed by invaders. You are a disgrace to your uniform and you're an insult to mine.
All right, mate, I hear you.
Yeah, why would he say it behind, right, mate, I hear you? This is fake. This is AI generated. I'm surprised it's not been community noted yet. Who's going to tell him? Right, so Mark Rowley says substandard senior officer should resign, so he should take his own advice then, shouldn't he? Just resign, mate. Just resign. I can't believe he said that. So Mark Rowley says substandard. Wow. I mentioned the Osima Crandall who was exhausted on that rise where the tram and the tram cars were too steep. Yeah. A lot of them were like huffing and puffing going up the hill. Yep. Yeah, I've been trying to warn people lately that there's a lot of propaganda going around, especially on the right wing of things. There are certain people out there that are trying to stir up tensions. There's a lot of these fake patriot channels that are spreading misinformation. I pointed one out the other day that tried to pass off a clip from the summer riots last year as a recent update of I think it was a young lad in Swindon that was attacked by a gang of ethnic minorities. And they were claiming that this was an update video. It wasn't. It was footage. It was clearly footage from the riots. So be wary of everything that you look at. Check it out, check the sources, and make sure that it's actually real before you believe it, especially on X. X is a cesspool of misinformation. Don't get me wrong, I've fallen foul of it myself once or twice, but I've learned my lesson, and I just check it now. And if I'm unsure, if I don't think it's real, I just don't share it. But yeah, it's just a heads up for people. So have a look around. Again, everybody's sharing it. See, it's stuff like this you've got to be wary of, because it could be just AI generated. You could land yourself in a bit. Here we go. This is the video. Right. This is the one I want to play. Here he is again. Look. Here he is again. So why am I not surprised? Well, I'm not surprised that he's probably involved in this. And this is the reason why young Bob wasn't allowed through the police cordon, is because of his orders. Let's see if I've not actually heard this yet, so we'll have a look. So look at the chat for me. Right, we'll play this. Let's play it.
That way and round to that.
Okay, but that's for the sake of my safety. I can optionally opt out for that and decide to go through the quickest way.
For your safety, I would prefer you to go that way.
But it's not up to what you think is the safest route. It's up to what is the law stating. And if it states that activists can't get through here, I'm not an activist.
What we're saying is, for your safety, I would prefer you to go that
Okay,
way.
but what does the law say?
It's nothing about...
Right, so if she's saying that she prefers him to go that way, then that's not a directive, that's not an order. That means he's allowed to go and he can choose whichever route he wants to go. I mean, it's like the nanny state. I mean, what about war correspondence? Oh, it's for your safety. It's like, well, you know, I've got a report on it. Just shocking. UK Stars Police tell young Bob journalist the reason they are blocking his movement has nothing to do with the law. I've noticed that a lot of the commanders are these little tiny women that haven't got basically the Karens. They're just Karens in uniform. I think that was the best thing that happened to me yesterday. Was one of the evidence gatherers with the cameras actually came up to me and asked me what time the protest was finishing. They didn't even know that. Basic information. I was like, what? You know, I should be coming up to you and asking you when the protest's finishing, not the other way around. Yeah, I forgot that, mate. You know, I'm thinking about inspectors when I see the white epaulettes. I'm sorry. Yeah, the uniforms are confusing. The colour system of the uniforms is confusing because sergeants have got the white alapets on. The inspectors have got white alapets on as well. Haven't they? I don't know. I just assumed. Steve, I used to have family in Newcastle, late 80s. We'd go up to the boat with the revolving dance floor, time to see. Yeah. Read that again. Right, the sergeant 3-1. The sergeant, a red hat, is a serial commander. The white cap is a section sergeant. Right, so they're sergeants, and I thought they were inspectors. I'm sorry about that. Yeah, I don't know about the colour system with the police. It's confusing. It's when those tiny little women screech. When back in the day, to be a sergeant, you'd have to do that shouty thing. Yeah, you know what? One of them, everybody remembers Police Academy and Hooks, that little black woman who who was really quiet, going, and then she'd like come out and just shout. There's one of those. She reminds me of one of those. Right, let's finish watching it.
Yes, it is, because you can't block someone's freedom of movement without enacting some sort of law.
Getting into an argument.
It's not an argument, it's the law.
We can go that way.
You know the law, right?
It's to get round that way.
People will be, going to get harmed by coming together.
That way and
You cite by that other woman police officer, you're going to get harmed by coming together. So why aren't you doing something about it then? You've got all those police vans behind you. You could form a barrier to block them and move them out of the way and allow freedom of movement. It's just, you're just absolutely clueless because you've got, obviously, command like this. Shocking. Absolutely shocking. I'm lost for words. I really am. I mean, it's every protest I've been to, it's been a little tiny woman that's been the commander. There was one in Nottingham, and Steve said there was one. I don't know what it is. I mean, obviously it's diversity, equity, and inclusion. I mean, look at this one. The uniform doesn't even fit her. What's she doing? Is she out on like work experience or something? Yeah, thanks, mate. Appreciate it. Yes, but do well, so well in interviews. Yeah, they will do. Anybody can talk well in an interview, can't they, Steve? It's like, it should be your actions that actually get you the job. And that's what close protection work is. It's not qualifications with close protection work. It's your actual reputation. It's the battles that you've been in that give you the credibility to do the job. Thanks, Craig. Really appreciate it, mate. Really appreciate that. Right. So that was that. And he was in the background, hovering about in the background. See if there's any more stuff. Yeah, another one. Another one. We've got another one. Jason Raphael, 21, has been charged with attempted murder, as well as 2 counts of assault and possession of a knife. West Midlands police said Raphael was who they described as a black British national, was remanded in custody and would appear before obviously. A lot of people were saying today why I wasn't wearing a poppy or anything like that. I would have been. I do have a knitted one. I will be wearing it for Armistice Day in the week. But I don't wear... We'll come out of that. No, I'll come out of that. There we go. Yeah, I don't wear a poppy because I don't give any money to the British Legion. I usually have a knitted poppy that I wear on my coat. It was one that my grandma gave me. It was knitted, and it's just a pin. It's just a head of a poppy. But I don't give anything to the British Legion because they don't give the full donation to the veterans, to the homeless veterans. They just and I'm sure Past 49 was saying something about this on X the other day as well. They take a percentage, and it's usually the bigger percentage they take for administration fees. So the actual veterans on the street only get a tiny proportion of that donation that you buy the poppy for. So I would suggest everybody stop buying poppies. Don't buy poppies, and instead, I would suggest, you find a decent veterans homeless charity and donate to them instead. One that gives 100% donation, and check it out. Yeah, understand why people do, but the British Legion are absolute scumbags when it comes to the actual veterans. You know, the people they're supposed to look after. The homeless veterans don't get F all, hardly. Yes, I have a non-Legion pin. I might tell you why one day, but it's about both my dad and my great uncle. Right, okay. Yeah, I don't wear a British Legion poppy for the simple fact that they take a percentage of the donation. I think the whole donation should go to the people that the charity set up to help. I don't agree with them taking out administration fees or anything like that. It's supposed to be a non-profit organisation, but clearly somebody along the line is always making some money. That's why I don't give to these like wildlife charities, because if you look at the small print, it says something like 2% goes to the animals, like 98% goes on administration fees and stuff like that. And it's same with the British Legion, that the percentage they take is very high. I couldn't understand. Now, if they wanted to take a percentage, I think it should always be lower than the percentage that you're giving to the people you're supposed to be helping. Disrespecting veterans, not appropriate. I'm not disrespecting veterans. How am I disrespecting veterans? That's not disrespecting veterans. That's actually standing up for veterans, especially homeless ones, because the British Legion takes a percentage out of the donation, a bigger percentage than the veterans actually get. So how is that being disrespectful to veterans? It's not, is it? Give your head a wobble. Interesting. I wasn't aware of that, Vin. I heard Help for Heroes was a rip-off, but not the Legion as well. Yeah. You have to check the small print for these people because they are, plus the Legion is woke as well. They're very woke. I mean, was it them that they were coming out with this Pride poppy as well? And it's like, not on my watch. Definitely not on my watch. Well, maybe if you went out on the street, you might find some. I've never seen any homeless veterans. Well, go and look for some. You'll find them. It was what Paul said that about they were happy to fund ex-officers, but homeless vets like Paz 49 was for a time could F off, yeah. Yes, homeless veterans get a real rough deal. They don't get hardly any help at all, which you think they would. That's what I mean. The reason I'm so passionate about it is that could quite easily have been me when I came back from Iraq. It could quite easily have been me with the PTSD and everything. That's why I'm so passionate about that. Read on another channel, they have 1 million in the bank and won't help veterans. Why give to British Legion if not using it to help veterans? Let's have a look at it actually. Right, let's have a look. Should we have a look at the percentage that they take off? We'll have a look at it. See if we can get it up, just to prove a point. We'll have a look at this. Let's get this up. So I'm just looking at this. Right, I've got to make an apology because apparently that's not true. Apparently the British Legion does give 100% of the donation to, I'll share it on the screen. So it is 100%. We'll share that. Share it. 100%. The British Legion takes 100% of the donations raised from the sale of poppies. This means that all the funds collected from the sale of poppies go directly to support the armed forces community, including veterans. Yeah, but I'm wondering what percentage. Let's see, homeless. Let's search homeless. So here we go. It says, yes, the British Legion helps homeless veterans through various resources and support services. The Royal British Legion's urgent support team works with veterans in crisis, including those who are homeless or at risk of homelessness. Yeah, but I've got to question that a little bit because I've heard very different. They may offer it, but do they actually give it? If you are currently homeless or in immediate risk of homelessness, contact shelter. So, all right, okay, yeah. So this is the housing advice. This is the homeless housing advice. Oh, cookies. Housing advice for local veterans. Getting help with housing. There are a number of reasons you may find it difficult over housing. We're here to help you get back on your feet, as well as for you to partner organisations that provide you with special support. So why don't you just build some houses for veterans then? That's what I want to know. If you're currently homeless or in immediate risk, if you're in social housing, yeah, because obviously they're going to get social housing, aren't they? 10-year waiting list, yeah. This is basically advice you'd get if you were just an ordinary citizen. How about setting up some? Wow. Let's have a look. Just have a look at some of the comments. I was looking at comments. It's only advice for vets. No money goes to vets admin. Admin take it. This is what I've heard. This is exactly what I've heard. It's like they're claiming 100% goes to veterans, but does it really? If you look at the small print, does it really? I've heard a lot of veterans saying they got little to no help from the British Legion when they asked. And that advice there for homelessness is basically just the same advice that anybody would get. Call shelter. So obviously, I would think a priority for the British Legion would be providing accommodation for veterans that were coming back, that were leaving the army, that had nowhere to go. You'd think they'd provide that, wouldn't they? Especially if they've got PTSD and that sort of thing. That would be a priority. I'm always a bit dubious about AI and its suggestions. I should ask a question. I'm just looking to see if there's any like news articles about where they've been called out on it. Ah, here we go. Right, okay. Let's have a look at this. This about the British Legion has faced criticism for its financial support to Stonewall, a charity advocating for LGBTQ plus rights, and the allocation of 10,000 to the organisation. This is it. This is what I've been hearing. Right, that's why a lot of people don't give to it. This is in a spark heated debate among veterans, with some labelling it as pointless wokeism, calling for the RBL to reverse its course on funding Stonewall. Supporters of the Royal British Legion, however, continue to express pride in the campaign, highlighting its historic significance and dedication of volunteers involved. Another controversy arose when RBL spent nearly 100,000 on designing a new logo, which has been described as gross misuse of funds. This spending comes at a time when thousands of former veterans are living homeless in the UK, and the suicide rate among former military personnel has doubled in the last decade. The RBL's decision to rebrand its logo has been criticised by former servicemen who argue that the charity has lost touch with its original ethos to support soldiers and become too corporate. The RBL's 2025 Poppy Pill aims to raise over 50 million to aid UK Armed Forces members and veterans, providing financial and emotional support to those in need. Despite the controversy, the RBL continues to play a crucial role in delivering additional support to military charities, filling the gap left by the government's limited funding. So there you go. Poppy appeal boss stole 20k from collection boxes. Yeah. There's been widespread anger by the veterans community. I know there's an LBGTQ poppy trying to be brought out, and they what is the new logo anyway? Let's have a look at the new logo. What's that about? Can't see it anywhere. Was that it? Was that it? It's a non-event then, isn't it? It's a non-event. Let's look at some of the chat. There we go. Yeah, he is. I've seen Active Patriot doing a lot for Patriots. He's been getting sleeping bags, hot meals for them, and stuff like that to get them off the streets. He's an absolute legend. Holy heck, that's more than I thought, using the old Soldier of Sympathy while they pocket buckets of it. Yeah. This is why a lot of the veterans don't like the British Legion. I knew it was something. Yeah. Charities only give a percentage to charity. Rest goes to their own pockets. Yeah, it's administration fees. They always say it's 100%, but it's not really, because if it was 100%, if everything that they got, say they got, I mean, it says there that they're looking to raise 50 million. So let's say that 50 million goes directly into funding it, then what pays for the charity's upkeep and running? There's got to be a percentage taken out of it, hasn't there? So it's not 100%. So even though the AI on Google is saying, oh yes, they get 100% of the donations, I highly doubt that. I highly doubt it. I thought I was wrong. I know if I'm wrong, I'll admit I'm wrong. But on looking at that, I realised, yeah, I mean, the housing advice in itself, it's shocking. If you're currently homeless or immediate homeless, contact shelter. And they've got limited places. They've got very few places as well. So, and the social housing, saying getting social housing, yeah, there's not enough social housing to do it. Then you would think that councils would prioritise British veterans instead of people, or you think they'd prioritise British people full stop, wouldn't you, Craig? Instead of absolute strangers. I mean, let's not forget, right? Let's not forget that some of these new arrivals are getting brand new houses built for them. Yet soldiers who fought for this country, potentially giving their life for this country, are just tossed on the street and forgot about. They don't get a new house. They don't get a new house built for them. They should do. And I say it like this: if you've served your country, you fought in a war for the term. I mean, I don't deserve it because I didn't do my full term. I left the TA and got a full-time job. But those that went into the full military, served their full time, they shouldn't pay tax. They should never pay tax again, in my opinion. Never pay tax again. That's what I say. Institutions of the family is a test to stand. The woke tyranny haven't quite cancelled the family. No, they haven't. They are a joke. Look at this. American celebrities register their charities in Delaware. Costs you only need to pay 5% to charity, and 95% goes to the rich pockets. That's disgusting. Our veterans deserve much support as possible. They do. They absolutely do. And this is what I'm arguing about. It's like, let's look at that, right? That 10,000 that they was it 100,000? They could build small units. They could build small units like little bunks, couldn't they? They could even have prefab cabins built somewhere to house homeless veterans. They could buy a bit of land. Let's put some little huts on there. It'd be like barracks. Make it like barracks so they feel at home. You house them in there. Make them feel at home. Yeah, get them off the streets. Get a warm meal in the stomach. Stuff like that. You could even have ex-military cooks and stuff cooking for them, couldn't you? Give them a wage as well. Give them a job. It'd be so easy to do. Just don't do it because they don't want to prioritise it. I've heard so many horror stories about veterans of the British Legion. It's unbelievable. About how they refused to help or wouldn't help them. Yeah, if necessary, a tiny home. Yeah. Doesn't have to be a luxury mansion or anything like that. Just something to get their head down in. Because I can assure you, they've probably slept in worse. I know they have. I know they've slept in worse. Especially out in Iraq. I remember quite a few times sleeping in a ditch with camel shit and piss and not caring because I was so shattered you'd sleep anywhere. So I'm pretty sure that the squaddies, they slept in some really shitty places. And it reminds me, and it's not just the Labour government, I remember what Rishi Sunak said when talking about homeless veterans. I remember this. I'm not sure when he said it, but he definitely said it. He said, well, they've got survival training. Let them put it to use. What a disgusting piece of shit he was. Our veterans fought for us. Not getting a new house given to them makes me sick. It is disgraceful behaviour from the Storm regime. It is. Absolutely is. And it makes me angry too. It's like, but we all know who should be getting those houses, and it's not the new arrivals. Should be kicking them out and saying, right lads, come on, here's a house for you. Get in that. Keep yourselves warm. But we all know that the Storm regime hates the military. They hate the military. Why do they hate the military? Because the majority of the military, the people that go into the armed forces that make up the bulk of the boots on the ground soldiers, is working class. And they hate the working class. My dad spent his 21st birthday up to his chest in water in a trench. Yet, Ivan, for most charities, around 30% of their turnover is the cost of generating funds. It's not unusual that only around 50% of at least the charity's income is spent on charitable activities. That's shocking, isn't it? 50%. Just so they can give themselves big, fat annual salaries and probably nice, big pensions. Makes me sick. My wife worked for shelter. It's been 25 years ago. We had around 350,000 homeless in the UK. The government never mobilised hundreds of hotels and private landlords for own homeless back then. No, they won't. Of course they won't. They don't care about us, do they? Feather in own nest. Yeah, exactly. It's disgusting, isn't it? Right, what I'm going to do is I'm going to drop the link in the chat. And then that'll be that, guys. Everyone wants to come in, you're quite welcome to do so. I keep mentioning as well, I'm going to be, at some point tomorrow, I don't know when, I'm going to be setting up a Facebook page. I'll do a video or a live stream promoting it so you all know what the link is, where it is, and how to get on it. I will be starting to post videos to YouTube, Facebook, because I want to try and get monetized over on there as well. So, you know, two revenues coming in, sort of thing. So I can go out and do these protests all around the country, because that's really what I want to do. I've started to do it, but you know, it's getting there. It's getting there and doing it, isn't it? So yeah, totally agree. We're all tax cows. Exactly. We're disposable as well. You know, once you're done, once you've expired, they'll just work you to death, and then once you've expired, they'll pay you a pittance of a state pension, or if you've got a private pension, they'll just tax that to oblivion. So you're getting a pittance, because they don't care about you. They don't care. Swift, and he came back. Right, I've dropped the link in the chat. I'll drop it again just in case everybody missed it. There we go. That's a link. Just dropped it in the chat. If you want to come in, have a chat for a bit, you can do. If not, we shall see. We shall see. All people are deciding what they're going to do. Let's have a look. We can get rid of that now. Right, we'll have a look at. Get rid of that. Don't need that anymore now. Bojo is disgusting piece of shit. Remember when he said we'll enjoy picnics in the park? Yeah, he's an absolute arsehole. Piece of scum. He's got blood in his hands as well when he torpedoed the peace deal that I think it was Turkey. Turkey was trying to usher in a deal between Ukraine and Russia, and Boris Johnson went in there and torpedoed it. So he's got blood in his hands, that guy, hasn't he? 100%. Don't forget Starmer's has his own pension protected. Yes, he does. Very true. I think Steve was mentioning that on one of the live streams. It's an act of parliament to protect his pension. So where do you think he's going to be when he's not prime minister anymore? He's not going to be in this country, is he? He's going to be abroad. He's going to have a nice luxury villa somewhere, probably in Italy or somewhere like that. And he's not going to care that this country is a dumpster fire, is he? Right. I think I've said everything that I've got to say, guys. Watch out for my video. I'm going to be doing my morning walk video tomorrow, as always. Watch out for the other video tomorrow, because tomorrow's going to be the Mystic Media one, where Mystic Media, the citizen journalist, got attacked by the police. I shall be doing that one tomorrow, so watch out for that one. Right. Yeah, Tom's okay. He's fine. He went to the Remembrance Sunday ceremony in Southampton today, so he might be a little bit burnt out from that. So yeah, he's all right. Right. See, my granddad refused his medals. He saw the experience as his duty, not something to be praised. A lot of them were like that. A lot of them were very, very honourable men. Very honourable men. Boris Johnson is an absolute embarrassment, especially when it comes to the military. Yeah, he is. He's a joke. Let's face it, the majority of politicians are a joke. I think we've got one or two rare ones, like Rupert Lowe and others that are okay. They never cared about us or our family when I was in Germany. My boy had a serious illness that needed treatment, and they paid for the flights, but I had to pay for the accommodation. It's shocking, isn't it? It's absolutely shocking. I've heard stories from my mates of having to buy their own kit because the kit they were being issued by the British Army was substandard. Now, I know that's true. The boots aren't fantastic. I got my own boots. I bought my own boots from what was it? I'm trying to think where it was now. I think it's from an army surplus store. But I think they were para boots I got. Para boots were awesome. They were very comfortable para boots. Once you broke them in, para boots were amazing. But yeah, I heard some buy their own kit, buy their own sleeping bags and sleep mats and that sort of thing. The new ones, though, the new sleeping bags, so I've got one. British Army sleeping bag is amazing, the sleep system, because it's a full winter system. I have to show it on the channel sometime. But that's amazing. Yeah, I can sleep in anywhere, and that's whack it all in. British Army bivvy bag, get under a bush, and I'm good. When I go hiking, I don't even bother taking a tent sometimes. It's just get inside that, get under a bush or a tarp, and I'm good to go in that thing. It's amazing. But yeah. But that's shocking, that. You know what? I'm not sure they were. I know they were para boots. I'm not sure which ones they were though. But they were awesome. You could literally wade in a river in them, and your feet would be perfectly dry because they were sealed. They were sealed. They got God, I forget what it was now. They had something like 100 holes. The boots went right up your ankle. The para boots caused me to break my ankle. One of the reasons they put me on the #1 bus home. Yeah. Like I said, they were all right once you broke them in. Mine were all right. Mine were perfectly okay. So I'm just having a look at some of the comments. Right, guys. I'm going to call it. So thanks for all coming. Love chatting to you all again. This is what I do it for. I love chatting to my audience and talking to you guys. Even if people don't come in, I hope eventually some of you guys will come into the live stream and have a chat. It'd be great. I know Nathan does sometimes, but yeah, I'm going to call it a night because I'm getting tired. Like I said, I'm still burnt out from yesterday. A lot of people don't appreciate that when I go into a situation like that, it's like fully focused, laser focused for the whole event. And I was out from 9:30 until I didn't get home till about, what was it? It was about 7 o'clock-ish. So yeah, you're laser focused and it is mentally draining. And it takes a toll sometimes, it does. because you're just so focused. But I'm not complaining. I really enjoyed it, actually. You know, I like the adrenaline rush. I've got to admit, I'm addicted to the adrenaline rush of the situation. Getting you guys footage and being in those situations, it's good because it makes me feel like I'm doing something again, if you know what I mean. I like it, yeah. That's awesome, mate, that. Right, guys, I'm going to call it. I shall see you all soon. Night, everybody. Have a good evening. And I shall see you all soon. This is Vindicator, signing off.